Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the counselor's office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and as you can tell above, we are talking about some Diablo 4. More specifically, we are going to react to Darthmicrotransaction, who seems to be the go-to guy for me, at least, when it comes to all things Diablo 4. I haven't been playing it. I haven't been live streaming it. I can't be bothered to play Season 3, but they are doing changes that gives me hope. Now, we're watching this video by Darthmicrotransaction titled A Message to All Diablo 4 Players. The original link will be down below for you guys to check it out. And I encourage you all to please give it a like. And if you're not subscribed, if you like Diablo 4, trust me, he gives some good information. Check him out. So let's just jump into it and see what he has to say to all Diablo 4 players.
Hey, I just want to do a message to Diablo 4 players real quick.
That's me.
Around this
What's up?
Itemization rework. Now, the itemization...
Yes, rework. I did not do the live stream. I did not do like a review video. It was like really long, and I'm like, I can't be bothered. But I definitely did watch it, and there's a lot of good things in there. So I don't know if he's going to talk about it, but we're going to jump in.
rework that is coming up in the game is going to be a full
Season
fundamental
4
rework of a core part of the game. Itemization rework is going to change pretty much everything about your experience with Diablo 4, because
hopefully
items
it's for the good.
themselves are what make up the composition of your character. So when they end up changing all of that and the way items rework with the crafting, it's not only going to change the power balance in the game, it's going to change how you acquire the items in the game, how often you're sorting through loot. It's going to change a lot. It's going to change the end game and the early game.
What it's going to do is it's going to remove a lot of the bull crap. You know, how you're like, first off, the level grind is going to be significantly, like, depending on who you talk to, they would say, well, it's really not that bad. But when you have to do the same dungeon, that's the best XP farm for hours and hours and hours. And then a lot of these farmers who get level 100 in day one have like a stacked team that know what they're doing. Most people who are casual, or even like not casual, like I played when it first came out constantly, more casual than what casuals did. But it was, for me, it wasn't worth it. So now I do play casual. But what I'm saying is it's going to be a better experience for everyone, because it won't take forever to get to level 100, which seemed like the goal is that they want people to get to the end game, because they're also going to add more to the end game, which is awesome. It's a great change.
Going to change everything. They also changed the way experience works.
There you go.
Leveling effectively faster in this. So the point that I want to make in this is that if you are one of the people who have been maybe waiting around, because you saw Diablo 3 launch in like a not great state and it took a while to make Diablo 3, where people were like, oh, I really like this.
I played Diablo 3 at the end of its life cycle, and I really liked it. Again, I played very casual. I didn't even know what builds were. I just put things together and I made it work. Like I played, like I really liked fighting Death. That was really cool. I wish I could make my character look like Death, but I was a very filthy casual. Then I played Diablo 4 and I was like, okay, I like the Diablo 3. I want to be there for the launch of Diablo 4, which I was, and I grind the crap out of it, season 1 and even season 2, and it seems like they dropped the ball in season 3, so I'm waiting for season 4.
It took Path of Exile, the same thing, by the way. Lions in a state where it's like, okay, you know, it needs more improvement later on, 10 years down the road. Path of Exile is great. Even Last Epoch, I like Last Epoch, but even Last Epoch feels to me like I like the game, but there's more that I would like to see for me to actually really go super hardcore.
I have no plans to play Last Epoch. I have too many games, like live service games. I have to cut myself because I can't be investing. But I've invested in Diablo 4. I bought it already. I'm not going to buy anything else unless it's like God tier, like you've got to, which it doesn't sound like there's really anything out there at this moment. Path of Exile 2, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to wait. But Last Epoch, you won't see me buying it or playing it on the channel.
The game, once I get to the end game, I find myself kind of, you know, getting a little bit bored. So for me, if you're one of these people that you've just been kind of waiting around to give Diablo 4 another shot, I think the itemization might be the time for you to bypass the discussion around it, and just figure this out for yourself because it's such a core fundamental change. The reality.
And here's the thing. If you're like me and you've already bought it, it's free. Seasons are free, and that's the nice thing. It's not like Destiny 2 where in order to really experience the package and get what you want out of it, you have to spend $15. Whereas Diablo 4, it's free. You can play at your own pace. You can play for like 30 minutes to an hour. Most people, you'll know within 30 minutes whether you're enjoying it. And I think if you like Diablo 4 at base, I think starting a new, fresh character is always fun for the beginning part. At least I enjoy it. I think for me, it's always been the beginning is the best part, especially when builds aren't necessarily detrimental to what you're doing. You could essentially run anything. You could run any sloppy build and it will do the job. And it may not be the most efficient, but it will still do the job. And it's fun. And it's not until you get to the end game when things get really boring. So it sounds like the changes are going to improve the entire experience from beginning and to the end. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Reality is you could really like the change or you could really not like the change.
Yeah, just try it and then leave if you don't.
Information for you to know how you feel about it, because if you really like it, that means all of the additional content coming to the game and the content that's in the game might feel better to you due to the fact that the items feel better. And like I say, it's a huge part of ARPGs. If you really don't like the change, then maybe you don't need to worry about what other in-game and everything comes in, because itemization is going to feel bad for you. And this is the rework that we are seeing. They might tweak.
And that's the big thing. Items for me, like the grind, I went multiple seasons to 100. And it got to a problem where I was like, do I want to focus on items? Because I'm getting waves and waves of items and I'm like trying to siphon through it. But the guys that I'm farming with want to keep going and going and going. But I'm like, well, I need to keep tweaking my build so I can continue to do the thing, because the key thing about the game is getting a good build going. But while you're farming, it's like you go slower if you look at all the things. Most people either didn't pick anything up or they would sell it or dismantle it, where I'm sitting there trying to check every little thing, every little stat. And it's like, it's more annoying than it needed to be. And it sounds like they're going to take away the need to check or need every little piece of gear, which is great because that means I can start skipping things unless I really need the materials, which I could go solo if I need to do that. But overall, it sounds like a great change that we, as the player, it's going to make our load easier. Whether you're a veteran or a casual player, you can get the build you want online faster, and it's not going to take all your time to try to siphon through the items, which for me, it was my biggest complaint outside of there not being in-game.
Tweak it with your feedback, and the feedback will be important to be giving them because it is a PTR, and I'm sure they're going to need the feedback. But this is a rework that took a while, so it's probably in its concept going to stay roughly the way it is. So because of that, I think if you've been waiting for somebody out there in the video to tell you, hey, when is it that I should take a peek again? I think it's going to be the PTR with itemization. I'm not saying Diablo 4 saved. I'm not saying the game's a million better. I'm saying you should find out for yourself how you feel about your character with the items changed into the game, because this.
And he makes a really good point. The fact that you need to find out for yourself. You can watch someone and kind of look at it, but ultimately, if you own Diablo 4, just give it a try. I think. And I like what he says, what I say about Destiny 2. Like, Destiny 2, Bungie's releasing Into the Light. And I said, this isn't going to save Destiny, but it's a step in the right direction. And it sounds like this itemization is a step in the right direction. It's not going to ultimately change Diablo 4. I mean, it is going to change it. But if you don't like Diablo 4 anyways, because you're not going to probably enjoy this regardless. And if you do like Diablo 4, but you're hoping that they fix some key parts for you to come back, hopefully this is enough to come back. I'm saying also kind of to myself, because I need things to change for me to really invest time. Because I usually go to 100, I give it a try to farm for some uniques, and then I get bored, I peter out. Because I'm a solo player, I don't really have a group that really wants to grind Diablo 4. And it does get boring doing the same thing over and over again. And just like I said, going through waves and waves of items that just feel useless is also discouraging. I want loot that I'm excited to get versus this is just more trash to siphon through. I feel like I'm doing a job rather than actually enjoying the game. So I'm really hoping these changes bring me back.
This is the largest change that has happened since the launch of the game, and you owe it to your own $69.99 that you spent on the game to see whether or not you actually enjoy the game for what it is going to be after those itemization changes.
Absolutely.
So I'm not trying to say D4 good. I'm not trying to say D4 bad. I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm trying to tell you that this is the biggest change, in my opinion, that they've had yet, and that you probably should respect your own opinion enough on this one. And the reason I'm going in on like you trying it yourself as opposed to like just wait for my video, I'll tell you, is because I'm seeing a lot of really weird conversation around this, which is influenced by like previous history, etc. Like I'll give you an example here. So Blizzard just killed Diablo 4 by announcing a list of changes so massive that it's practically a new game.
Before he gives his opinion, I have becoming. Don't ever listen to game journalists. There is just something in the water where, like Kotaku, Eurogamer, IGN, all of them are just drinking something in the water where they're saying some of the stupidest crap I have ever seen. Like, I never cared about news journalists, but in this day and age, it's even more apparent that you should not give a crap about their opinions. Most of them are just pandering. Most of them, and here's the big thing, just like YouTube videos where hot topics are good or clickbait get you views, these journalists literally just make bull crap up in their articles or say things that are completely obviously wrong intentionally to get more views or to have people have more discussion, even though I guess in their mind negative views of them is still good views. I guess it's still, if obviously it works, because they wouldn't do it if it didn't work. They're getting money out of it, and that's usually the main sin of it. Get it, sin, because we're talking about Diablo 4. The main sin is literally they're getting cash out of it, and that's why they're making these stupid choices to make these stupid comments. But I don't believe it's going. What is wrong with, by the way, of it being a new game? I think if you're a casual gamer, you're probably not even used to the game anyways. And secondly, if you're a veteran, you're probably welcoming some good change.
I don't even know.
Let me know in the comments down below.
That's supposed to mean, but when you click on the article, it's like actually positive about the changes. So what could happen is you could wait for itemization. You could go
clickbait. Exactly. The title's negative, but the contents might be good, or the content may be just as absurd as the title. Again, don't always take what the journalists say. In fact, me and Darth, don't just take our opinions. That's exactly why you have to try it for yourself. And if you're interested and you're wondering about if you should buy Diablo 4, it was set on sale earlier for like half price on Steam, so you missed that boat. But if you really want to, just wait for the changes to happen and then make the choice yourself.
Go on Twitter
by watching someone else do it.
One of these articles that doesn't make any sense, or you could watch a video that you get a bad take on or something like that, and really not have a good idea. But because there's the PTR, it's open to anyone that actually owns the game.
There you go.
Drop literally immediately in the game. It's not going to take you very long to get your own impression of it, so that when you look at these articles and these other things,
maybe I'll live stream it. I don't know.
Those weighted opinions against maybe people that got further versus your own where you haven't had experienced it. So that's just sort of my message to Diablo players today. Is that
we will probably give it a try at some point.
You've been waiting for an opportunity to jump back in and just see if you're going to like it. It's probably this PTR right here.
Oh yeah,
I would have to imagine. You're welcome to wait on my video, and I'll do my best to give you a
there you go link
on it. But
to his channel.
I honestly would love to see,
or a link to the original video, and then subscribe to the channel to see more. Obviously, I will give my take if I play it, so you can expect that.
The general populace's take on this one just as much. I am curious what people are going to think about this. I've been positive about the changes since I saw them months ago, as have basically everyone I've at least talked to. But the way that it looks and the way that it feels in ARPG can very often be different. So we don't really know until the PTR comes out. And because it changes everything about the game, in my opinion, this itemization rework is the largest thing that has happened in Diablo 4 since the launch of the game. And it's
all right. And I agree. Like, it is his opinion. He's absolutely correct that this is dramatic change, like literally changing so much. And the fact that you can essentially, you're going to have more stash space. And that's a huge thing. One of the biggest conundrums was the fact that you're going to, in the meme, is you load up everyone else's stash when you go into town, which makes no sense. And that's why they didn't expand stash spaces. This is going to help stash spaces, which is nice because mine is always full of crap. And I am so glad the Code of Index has more use now. And it stores all your good. I'm so happy about that. That's a plus.
Arguably going to be a bigger deal than like the expansions or anything that come out too, because of how it changes literally every class instead of just like adding a new class and new content, etc. So that's just my take on it. I would say respect your own opinion on the PTR when it comes out. There's obviously videos and stuff you can watch on, but I think that will be the opportunity for you to take a peek at the game again, in my own opinion. I'm going to go live today. Dragon Dogma 2 is out. We might take a peek at that. And we also...
All right. That's where it pretty much ends. Again, I really like, I'm glad. It's always nice to hear someone else's perspective, especially when someone who's a actual YouTuber based on it. And I usually like Destiny and stuff like that. I usually say, be careful who you listen to, especially when they get paid to play the game. And what I mean by that, I mean their job is to play that specific game. But I have watched him and he's very critical like me, but he's also very fair. And he's being very fair in how he's seeing the changes. And that's kind of like me. I will give praise or the benefit of the doubt when it's warranted. And the fact that the game is dramatically changing and it seems for the better, I would give it the benefit of the doubt that it's going to be a much better game. It's a step in the right direction. Again, I don't think it's going to save Diablo 4 because they're going to have to continue to add to the end game, which is kind of the core part of the issue. Is they're dealing with itemization, which is very big and very important. And then hopefully they continue to add to the end game to give it longevity, and that the seasons themselves are much better than season 1 and season 2, 3, which apparently are made by the same team. And next season is going to be made by the team that made season 2. So at least my fingers are crossed that we get another banger in season 4, and that other team just needs to take a vacation and reevaluate their choices, because my God, season 3 looked horrible, and I have no desire to play it. Constructs, man, very fun. Woo! But check out the video down below. Again, I think this is it's a very positive change. I would like to hear your opinions. Is this going to bring you back to Diablo 4? Are you going to wait? Are you going to pass? Are you done with Diablo 4? Again, I spent $80 or $79, whatever. I got my 69, whatever it was. I got my money's worth at season 0 and season 1, and then even playing season 2. I've got my money out of it. I played the campaign. I had multiple level 100 characters. Anything else is a cherry on top, and I am hoping to dig my teeth back in because I want to play a sorceress. They buffed, they also nerfed, but they also buffed the sorcerer, sorry. And I want to get into that. So, as always, don't forget to be the best version of yourself. And until next time, don't forget to game out. Hurrah.